Hi, this is Keshav Lal CPA. Today I brought you another chapter which is W2 versus 1099 or employee versus contractor. We have to understand what is the difference between two. W2 are the employee of the company who are permanently associated with the company. Permanent means maybe 1 day, 2 day, 10 years, but they are associated with the company or some kind of on a regular basis or even part-time, but they are employee. And 1099 are those people who are self-employed, means they don't work for anybody, but they work for themselves, subcontractor or contractor. Those work on a fixed price on project to project basis. Which is better choice because has a both are tax document and each document has a different tax treatment. So some documents are good for one person and other is good for other person. So most of the time this question come from employer and worker, which is good option. Whether I should work on W2 or 1099. And employer also ask this question instead of running the complex payroll system. Can I hire the people on 1099? Means can I hire my employee on 1099? Basically, there is no such option. You have to follow the rules. If somebody is eligible for W2, you have to issue him W2. It is mandatory. Who will decide that if employer is not sure whether he qualifies as a W2 or 1099, the IRS has issued 20-factor guidelines. You can put one person situation in these 20 factors and then you can immediately find out that whether he's an employee or contractor. In 20 factor, it doesn't mean that all the 20 points should match. Even if few match, even then he will be decided as an employee. What are those 20 factor tests? I am just listing few of them. Main points are level of instructions, means the worker who the employer is going to hire will be work under some instruction that somebody will give him an instruction, or he will work independently. Some manager will be there, some supervisor will be there watching his work. Then he is an employee. Amount of training means you will provide him a training before he start your work. Most of the new employees are given training or orientation by the employer, introduction about the company, and then he's employee. Degree of business integration, whether the person is needed in your regular business. If he's uh, if he's regularly attached to the business, then and your business need this kind of services on regular basis, then he is an employee. Extent of personal services, if you need his personal skill, means somebody is expert in accounting, somebody is expert in networking, somebody expert in computer, and so on, then he is an employee. Control of assistant, if he needs if employee need an assistant, means just to do his work, and assistant is hired by the employer, then he is an employee, because contractor always hire their assistant themselves. Continuity of relationship, you want him in a regular basis, your relation is some sort of longer enough. And flexibility of schedule means if employee has to follow your schedule, that your office open 9 to 5 and 8 to 4, such as, then he's an employee. But if one employee has to follow his own schedule, sometime he's coming 3 o'clock, sometime he's coming 6 o'clock, all these things, then he can be considered as a self-employed. Demand for full-time work means your business need somebody should be there all the time and attend the work, then he is an employee. Need on site, you want somebody in on your site, because you give him a work, he has a table, he has a chair, he has a computer, he sits there and do the work. He's employee. Contractor may not need your site. He can take the work and go home and go to his office or whatever his workshop, and he can work from there. Sequence of work means if employer decide the sequence of work means first in the morning you do this, afternoon you do different work, then he is a em- employee. Means more subordination is testify he is a employee. Requirement of a report, if any worker has to report to his supervisor, then he is a employee. Method of payment, whether he gets hourly, monthly, that also decide. Travel expenses, if he employ travel on the behalf of employer and employer reimbursement is the expenses, then he is an employee, because contractor are not reimbursement for expenses. Tools and equipment, whose tool he use, he brought his own tool or company tool, like company chair, company desk, company's photocopy machine, for company's everything, company's phone line, then he is an employee. Investment in facility, because employee don't rent any office building. Employee work in an employer's rented building. Contractor usually make his own facility. He has his own workshop. Realization of profit or loss. Employee has nothing much. Employee is concerned with only his performance. Overall, what company is doing, that is not the business of each and every employee. Senior employee may concerned with that, but each and every employee may not concerned with that. This was technical explanation. Now I tell you in layman language. Work, if workers work is supervised by someone, who will be employee, whose work is supervised by someone. Work is Workers work is managed by someone. One is get instruction from someone. Worker perform duties in set of hourly daily, like 9 to 5, whatever. He is paid, if part time, then we can say 2 to 3, 4 to 5, something, 2 to 5, but hourly are decided by the employer. Who is paid hourly or monthly salary, not a lump sum fixed amount, but hourly and monthly salary. More he work, more he gets. He is reporting to work progress to someone. Whatever he's doing, somebody is there to check his performance, check his progress in work. Then he is a employee. These are laymen. If these things are there, then he is definitely employee. And there is one more thing. If somebody sign his timesheet, then he is a employee. 1099 contractor. Contrary to this, you just see some features of 1099 contractor. He is a flexibility of schedule. He can work according to his availability. His services are available to all public. His ads are there, like plumbing service, electrical services, and and other repair services. Control over discharge means if in, if he cannot leave the project without any obligation, then he is a contractor. Means he signed the contract, he will complete this project in with such much then so much amount and in so much time, and he will not leave. He cannot abandon the project according to the contract. Practically, if he even abandoned, but according to the contract, if he cannot abandon the project, he is a subcontractor or a contractor. Right of termination. Uh, Basically, employees has bigger right to terminate his services, terminate his employment with the employer, but contractor don't have this kind of right, because if he terminate his services, then he had to compensate for financial obligation or financially loss to the bidder. No supervision, nobody supervise his work. Yes, the employer or any any owner can supervise his work, otherwise inspect his work whether he's doing good, how much he has done, but nobody can give him the direction. Yeah, you do from this side, you do from this side. own tools. He has his own tools. He has his own van which is full of tools, and he work for fixed price, that this is the price I will take to complete this job. No time and place concentrate. He is not bound by the time and place. He can work from home or he can work in his own shop, own workshop. The other thing is he should be eligible also. Means he should be eligible if he fulfill all these conditions, and he is eligibility like a licensed electrician, licensed plumber, licensed CPA, whatever. Then it looks that he is eligible to work as a construction contractor. He has a construction license, so he should be eligible also for being contractor. But still, there is no choice. It is not a choice that you can hire any person as a contractor or self-employed. You have to go with the tax treatment. You have to go with the 20-point factors to see whether he can be contractor or not. And other thing is, if you don't know what is the status of a particular worker, you are going to hire somebody, but he is a halfway contractor and halfway employee, and his duty in your company are like half of it's not clear. You're not clear whether I can hire him. If he insists you that hire me as a 1099, and you think he's a W2 employee. Now if there is some kind of conflict, this kind of conflict, that can be get cleared from IRS. This is called determination of status, and you can any can fill up the form SS8, form number SS8. Worker can fill up, employer can fill up, or employee can fill up to determine the status of the worker. This SS8 I will discuss later also. Now let's see the tax treatment. What is W2 tax treatment? What is 1099 treatment? Let's say suppose we are fixing the salary 100,000, or contract price is 100,000. One person get W2, one person get 1099. What will be the tax obligation? Workers tax obligation, worker tax deduction on W2 will be 7.65%, total $7,650, and contractor obligation will be 15.3, and his obligation will be 15,300 on this 100,000. This is a layman example so that you can understand simply why some company and some worker prefer 1099 over W2. Now it's a very clear here. Company want to issue 1099 to the worker because in W2 and 1099 employer save employer part of taxes. This 7.65% is not paid in 1099 because 1099 paid all the taxes himself. These are called like self-employment taxes, but these are substitute of payroll taxes. Here company is not contributing in 1099 worker, whereas in W2 company has to contribute 7.65% from their own pocket. Why worker prefer 1099? Because in 1099 some worker are genuine who can put their expenses, means their traveling expenses, tool maintenance, and material which they bought to complete a project, and they hire the more people to complete the project. So they can put their expenses which cannot be added in W2. So they prefer 1099. But there is another category of 1099 worker who just put the expenses in a hope, in a taking the chance that IRS or somebody will not know whether I am a really independent contractor or not independent contractor, and I can reduce my income tax and payroll also just putting my even those expenses for which they are not eligible, like commuting expenses. Nobody is eligible W2 or 1099, so they prefer 1099. But this category is not too much, but I have come across with these categories also. Now let's say some disadvantage to 1099 worker. If suppose you are eligible for W2 and you choose to get 1099 worker, employer has a clear cut attention that he is saving his 7.65% contribution. But what you are losing, first you have to pay the double tax, because employer taxes are double. In means employer is not contributed, you will be responsible for his contribution also. And what else you lose is, you lose is unemployment benefit. If you are got unemployed, then you cannot claim unemployment benefit. You cannot participate in group health insurance. You cannot participate in 401k plan. You cannot avail the paid leave. You cannot avail the paid sick leave. Worker com insurance, you cannot get benefit. He has to buy his own general liability worker com insurance. He is found to be employee, he may need to amend personal returns. Suppose after few years, uh, tax agencies found that you are not 1099, you should be employee. Then your employer can be in the problem and you can be also the problem. You have to file the amended returns for your prior years. How many prior years, that I cannot say. This is a tax tax desire, that how many years they will go back. Other companies benefit relating with employment status. With employment status, like other benefit, you will also lose. Consequences of misclassification. Let's say some employer misclassified a worker as a 1099 instead of W2. Chances are, consequences are IRS payroll audit, you can be audited, followed by state payroll audit. And more harmful to the employer, these consequences are more harmful the employer, because employer is hold more responsible for misclassification, and he is also penalized heavily on this issue. He IRS recover the taxes which is not contributed by employer, and the penalties are very severe. Penalties are very heavy. Out of scope might to assess this penalty. Recovery of company taxes, heavy penalty. Keep eye on employer for next 3 to 5 years. They keep eye on him whether he's issue. All cases of 1099 reviewed. Let's say the IRS found a one person, he's wrongly got 1099. IRS will review all 1099, may review all 1099 issued by the company to other employees or other workers. Then they assess. You can imagine where the issue can go. Worker are asked to amend the personal returns. Worker can also be audited. Let's say employer is audited, and they found that employee has who got 1099, he put lot of business expenses which are not reasonable, which are not necessarily relating with his services, which are heavily just to reduce the tax. Then employee or any number of employees or workers can also be audited. Other unknown consequences, what else can happen, that is not into my scope. Sky is unlimited. Now we can study some red flags. Which red flags are there? When employer and worker signed 1099 contract for W2. Because if employer think that I got the signature from a worker as a 1099 contract, 1099 signed contract doesn't work. If he is employee, he is employee. By getting signature signed 1099 as a contractor is not the solution. When 1099 worker apply for unemployment, disability, or worker compensation. Let's say you hire a 1099 employee. He work for you like 1 year, then you terminate him. Then he go for he doesn't know that he's in whether because he's not entitled for unemployment, but he doesn't know he still apply for unemployment or disability. Then state is get alert and state further take the issue with IRS, and both the agencies will come after you. When 1099 work find he has to pay lot of taxes instead of refund. Most of the employees get the refund. Most of employee they have a payroll deduction, heavy deduction, and they get the refund. But 1099 there is no room that because he has no tax withhold from 1099. And when he find that I am not getting any refund, all my colleagues are getting refund, then he raised the issue. Then he raised go for complaint and raise the issue. Then he realized that I was wrongly treated as a 1099. I should be a W2 also. So this is again a lot. When worker finds employer has saved his tax for misclassification. When worker after 1 year, 2 year, when worker get any alert that by getting 1099, employer is saving 7.6% of his share of contribution, and now he has to pay this contribution, then he also raised this issue with the employer or with the agency. It depends how much anger he gathers. When 1099 worker gets his personal tax audited, sometime if personal tax got audited of a 1099 worker, then he finger on employer that there were other people who were also getting 1099. Why am only I am picked up for audit? There we were 20 people. This. So this is another alert. When 1099 worker file SS8 form for misclassification of status with IRS, then IRS immediately take action. IRS takes time, but they take the action because I have seen, I have also filed SS8 with some employee, and we always won in favor of employee. And we always alert the employer not to take it easy for W2 versus 1099 issue. When 1099 worker gets both 1099 and W2 from the same employer, it is not that he cannot get both, but this is a alert because if IRS can think that if he's working on W2, why he's getting another 1099? Why he's getting? But this is a alert, but this is not a real issue. Though we can do so and so on, as we can do that 1099 and W2 from same employer, but it is of course red flag is also when company has lot of 1099 and no W2. Let's say suppose company has a 20 employee or 50 employee, but he has no payroll. He give everybody 1099, and so many 1099s go to IRS, then they get alerted why this company is not has no payroll system. And another is uh, when when service employee claims business expenses, when his duty looks like a employee but he's claiming unwanted lot of business expenses on 1099, that can create a situation of audit. When another issue is when an employee continuously is getting 1099. So you hire an employee and for 100,000 salary a year, first year you give him 1099, next year you also give him 1099, third year you also give him 1099, and you are giving him 1099 for number of years. That also alerted the tax agencies. Means something is wrong with this employee, something is wrong with this payroll system. Now I give you some layman examples. Same type of work 1099 or W2. There are also some chances that same type of work is done by W2 or same work is done by 1099. Let's say your company has a big network and your network suddenly crash. You call some outside agency, some outside guy, and you say, can you fix our networking? And you can hire him as a contractor. He will fix and go away. Now you have a same network. You need an guy, an employee who should sit here and keep watching your network, keep maintaining your network. Then he will be on W2 employee. Same type of work can have two type of people. Same example is with a truck driver with own truck and a company truck. If truck driver has his own truck and you give him a load on a fixed price, he is a self-employed or contractor. But if he drives the company truck and company give him the instruction, go to California, go to Pennsylvania, take this load here and take this load there, then he is a W2 employee. Workers of 1099 workers. Now there is a contract company, he take the contract, but he hires the people to complete the contract. Those hired people will be W2 employee of the contractor. This is also important. And there should be some kind of eligibility of a contractor. Contractor should be eligible to receive 1099, some kind of license, some kind of nature of job. Um, this is all about. Now chapter is getting to end. This is my disclaimer. This is not legal advice. You can explore your own. And my next is thanking note. I thank you Lord for listening me. I am very sorry for my technical deficiencies. Will release my next video soon. Thanks.